It's Monday, October 31st, 2022, and this is episode 269 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Mike, any interesting gambling going on your neck of the woods?
Well, I went out to Diamond Joe this last weekend and had a very nice run.
Good.
I don't know. It might become a regular Saturday thing for me.
Oh, very good.
Weather permitting and wife permitting.
Oh, right. Which is more critical, the wife permitting or the weather permitting?
I think you know the answer to that.
All right, sir.
No, my wife, she's pretty good about that. Okay. Actually, when we woke up, I said, "What are you going to do today?" She said, "Well, I was thinking about doing some laundry, and I know what you're going to do."
That's great. I'll do some laundry. Why don't you go throw some dice?
Nice. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it went real well. We hit the all, and then 2 or 3 other times we got half of it. So it was going well, and the rolls were good. It was one of those days where it seemed like, there weren't very many 7-outs. I'm sure there were a few. But there weren't a ton of them.
Well, good. So, looking forward to meeting you there and playing some.
Yeah, I was just sitting there thinking, God, I hope this is the same way in 2 weeks when all the guys are here. It'd be awesome if that was.
Yeah.
And they seemed to be all ready for us. One of the main floor people told me, yeah, we've got a crew for, 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday.
Very good.
Usually they don't open that second table on Saturday till like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, but He said they'll be open at 8. So
all right, we'll be sure we'll be down
plenty
there.
of room.
Yeah, and we'll talk about our trip a little bit later on in the show as well.
Yeah, another funny thing, Mark, happened. It's a 2-hour drive from here to Diamond Joe Worth.
Yeah.
So I was leaving. It was still in the morning, like 10-ish. So I decided, well, I'm going to stop up here at the Quick Trip and get a little snack.
Sure.
So I got some gas. I went inside. I got their equivalent of what would be like an Egg McMuffin sandwich.
Okay. At the Quick Stop.
At the Quick Stop.
All right.
Well, they make fresh food there. I mean, they have a kitchen and everything.
Okay. All right. I shouldn't disparage it. All right. Continue.
Yeah. No, it's actually great.
Okay. All right.
They make everything fresh.
Okay.
I got a sandwich. I got a Rockstar. And, of course, I got a jelly-filled donut, which, I mean, sure. Who eats breakfast without that?
No, especially with the Rockstar. Continue.
Yeah, the Rockstar, exactly. So I get up to the counter to pay, and she rings it up, and she turns to me and says, "Oh, this is lucky. It's $7.77. 777.
There you go.
As I'm going to a casino.
So perfect. So, I mean, that's why you won. That's why you hit the all.
That's why I won at the casino. Exactly.
I'm surprised you didn't play one of those flaming 7 slots there.
Yeah.
777.
Mark, they have a craps table there. Okay?
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to offend you.
But after I paid, I hesitated for a second. I turned to her and I said, "Give me $20 on the Super Lotto."
There you go.
And she got it to me and I said, "I've got to buy this. I'm probably going to win." So driving there, I'm all excited. I called my wife. I texted you. I told everybody I knew I got 777. So expect me to win. I didn't win.
Oh.
I
didn't win the lottery.
Lotto.
Yeah, but
I didn't win the lottery. It was a great day otherwise, but I missed out on that lottery. So whoever wins the billion owes me something.
Okay. I'm not sure I understand the logic there, but very good.
Yeah.
Hey, we got an email from listener Abby. She said, "Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. I've been a longtime listener and have finally got to Vegas for the first time. Trip has been great and hit a royal flush on video poker. Thought I would let you know. I didn't win much money, but it is possible. Thanks for the podcast, Abby." Well, of course you did, Abby.
Yeah. I mean, what else would you expect? Yeah. First trip, Mark.
Yeah.
First trip. We play video poker. When I was in San Diego with you, 3 times a week at least? Never hit anything.
Just quit complaining, okay? To me, this is just a good story. Oh, good for one of our listeners. That's great. First time. I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, do you know how many times we've played video? It doesn't matter. We're not hitting it. Why are we even complaining anymore? I'm just happy when anybody hits a royal flush. It's not going to be me. It's not going to be you. We just got to be happy.
I'm happy for Abby.
Yeah, congratulations, Abby. That's very good. We do hear stories about people hitting royals on their first.
I'd like to see one. I don't have to hit it. I'd like to be standing there when somebody got one.
And you know what I've decided, Mike? Okay, it only counts if you're playing single line. That's my new thing. I don't care what the denomination is. It only counts if you're playing single line. So for two reasons. Number one, it's going to reduce the number of times people say, hey, I hit a royal flush and we didn't. Number two, that's all we ever play is single line. So if we ever hit it, it's going to be single line.
Right. Maybe that's our problem.
Yeah, there you go. That is our problem. Among many.
Among many, yes. Too many to list on a short podcast like this. Tell you that.
All right. Well, keeping the video poker talk going, we also got an email from listener Michael. He was at Beau Rivage, and he says, I'm dealt a straight flush. So dealt, the first five cards are a straight flush. They were the 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King of clubs, right? So there's a straight flush.
Right.
So Michael's asking, so do I keep the straight flush or go for a royal? What is the correct thing to do? What would you and Dr. Mike have done? So in this case, since it's a straight flush,
you keep the straight flush.
The correct thing to do is keep the straight flush, and I think both of us, I certainly would. You'd keep the straight flush as well, Mike?
Oh, yes, of course.
Because
it pays so well.
Yeah, if it's a standard jacks or better variant, it should pay $250 for one. So that's not nothing. Now, if it was just a flush, and we've talked about this before, it's not a straight flush, but just a flush, and you've got 4 to the royal, then definitely go for the royal in that case.
Yeah, because there's this substantial difference there between that.
Right.
Yeah, I'd keep that 9. But, if you were having a great weekend and everything was going your way.
Hey, we're not going to fault you. If we're sitting next to you and, you're trying to get rid of that 9, we'll try to stop you. But, we're not going to use physical force. All right, because you gamble the way you want to gamble.
Very gentle stop.
It would be a little tap, just you should really keep the straight flush. But if that's what you want to do, it's like, hey, I've never hit a royal. How often am I going to have 4 to a royal? I've got to go for. Okay, I understand. It's a matter of principle.
Right.
Yeah. Now, we also got an email from listener Eamon about something that is quite annoying. I don't know if we've ever talked about this on the show, Mike. Maybe we have, but not to any extent. So he was playing some craps, and it was a situation where you have to pay the vig up front, right? Yeah. So you can go like $25 and, here's $1. Well, there's some casinos where if you're buying both the 4 and 10, they won't just charge you $2. In other words, $1 for each one. They'll charge you $3 because the combined total for the bets is $50. And that's above the amount that you can buy for only $2. We've seen this tons of times, Mike, and it's kind of infuriating because, let's say, for example, one dealer's there say, buy the 4, here's $1. Oh, okay. Then there's like a stick change and you've got a new dealer. And now you say, okay, here, buy the 10. Oh, is that going to be $2? What happens if one of the bets hits? Do they keep track? Okay, you're 4-1. Okay, you're 10-1. Since you're 4-1 before, it's going to be $2 this time. No, they don't do that. So why? It is so nitpicky. And in this case, actually, Eamon he wanted to bet 35 on each one because it's one where they'll let you bet $35 for just $1. Right. So, his situation, he had $70 out there. So they really insisted on charging him $3. But again, you're not going to keep track as the hand goes on. Oh, how many times you hit that 10? We got to make sure we're charging the right. Just treat them as separate bets. I don't know why casinos insist on doing this.
Well, out at Diamond Joe Worth, you can buy the 5 and 9 as well.
Well, Diamond Joe Worth, it's vig after the win, right?
After the win,
so that doesn't even come into it.
Well, okay, let me ask you this. So for $30 out there on a 5, your vig is $1.
Okay, right. So they let you go a little higher than the 20. Sounds good.
Yeah. $50, it's $2.
Okay.
If then you go to 80.
All right.
What do you think it is?
4. It should be 4.
Should be 4.
Yeah.
But they will charge you 3. And then, this happened to me once. I don't know if this is policy or not, but he said, 3 this time, 4 next time.
Oh, come on. I mean,
so
seriously.
You were like paying 3.5.
Right? Are you keeping track? It should just be 4. I mean, you're right on the $20 mark there, right?
Right.
I mean, it's great that they're giving you a discount, but 3 this time, 4 next time. And then when there's a stick change, Larry, he paid only $3 for the vig when his 9 hit last time, but he paid $4 for his 5. So keep track. They've got little lammers.
It was probably just an error because it should be $30
that
a dollar,
I believe. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
$50, $2, $60, $3, $80, $4, and then 100's a nickel.
Right.
So.
And the way that they do it, if I understand you, Diamond Joe Worth, not to get too far into the weeds here, though, is any amount up to the point where it's going to bump the VIG $1.
Right.
You could bet $39 on the 4 for just $1. But as soon as you get to 40, then it's $2.
Then it's $2, right?
Okay, yeah.
So you could bet 39. You ought to do that when you're there.
Oh, I'll do it consistently. Yeah, they'll love me.
They'll love you.
And I'll do 38 on the 5 and 9.
The payout on 39 is so nice.
Well, anyway, Eamon, we feel your pain. They should just do away with that. And in fact, they used to charge the $3 at Harrah's Southern California, and then they got smart and said, oh, no, we don't do that anymore, and they just treat the bets separately. So we're going to hear from Eamon a little bit later in the show. Well, Mike, our Padres didn't quite make it to the World Series, but wow, quite a run, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. Well, when you're the runner-up for the pennant, right?
It's strange, Mike, because in years past, we've gone to the postseason, and then it's been a big letdown. This time, though, I don't know. After beating the Mets and then especially beating the Dodgers, who were predicted to go all the way, we didn't do that great in the Phillies series, but that was a great series. We only won one of the games, but I'll tell you, if you're just a baseball fan, those were terrific games.
They were good games. I mean, it wasn't like we were blown out 12-0. I mean, they were most of the games. I don't remember exactly, but most of them were at the point where if we got a guy on, the tying runs coming to the plate kind of deal, which always keeps you excited.
Well, and on the Phillies side too, a lot of times, we'd have small, but it's interesting because when we finally lost that last game, it's like, oh man, I thought that was a good run. And then I just forgot about it. In years past, I just kind of dwell on it over, oh my gosh, why did he bunt? Oh, he didn't swing. For me, it was just, what a great year. And we've got a good team next year. So
a lot of it, Mark, was we beat the despised LA Dodgers.
I know that most of the country was probably rooting for us in that series. Yeah.
Unless you live in LA, that'd probably be the only ones rooting for the Dodgers. Maybe a few people in Brooklyn still hang on. But,
maybe. Or even the ones from Brooklyn are probably rooting against the Dodgers, right? They
probably still hate the Dodgers. Yeah. But, that was a big deal for us in San Diego. So next year, we're going to go one step further. We're going to sign Justin Verlander, and we're going to go all the way.
All right. Well, very good. Well, during the Phillies series, when it was actually tied 1-1, listener John B. contacted us. Everybody knows John B. He's been on podcasts. He shows up at a lot of the meetups. He said, hey, guys, I think Philly's going to win. How would you like to do a charity bet? We said, oh, yeah, you got it. So we ended up losing that bet, and we asked John, well, what charity do you want us to donate to? And he chose the San Diego Fire Rescue Foundation. Wasn't that nice for him to pick that,
nice.
That is very the local. Nice. So that's where we made our donation. So thank you very much, John. It was fun to have a little action on that series.
Tell you one thing, that's a class move.
I agree. I know.
I admire class moves. Wherever they are in your life, when someone makes a classy move like that, you just tip your hat.
Yep, exactly. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to voicemails. First up is John.
Well, good evening, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's John from Boston. Hope all is well. I was just listening to your podcast, and the gentleman called in about Pai Gow and why is it not even money or get paid on 3 pair. And Encore Boston Harbor does just that, although in order to get that, you really sacrifice a lot. So a 7-card straight flush pays $5,000 to 1, 5 aces pays $250 instead of $400. Royal flush pays $100 instead of $150. 4 of a kind pays $20 instead of $25 to 1. So in order for the privilege of pushing and not winning, they really take a lot of hold on the rest of the payouts. There is a pay table for that on Wizard of Odds also if you wanted to look at it. So while it is a pay table, it is not a popular one. Speaking of Pai Gow, a friend of mine was just out in Vegas a couple days ago, and Caesars, which runs their progressive jackpot throughout the state of Nevada, is up to $3.7 million. I think that might be the highest jackpot it's ever been for a 7-card straight flush on the $5 progressive. And lastly, a little trip report from Encore Boston. I was there the other night, walked in, got up to a table, 5 people on each side. As soon as I bought in, the dice got passed to a woman who very nicely held them for 50 minutes, at which point in time she had to go to the bathroom so incredibly bad that after she made the point, she went to the bathroom, and everybody agreed that nobody was going to accept the dice. We all waited for about 4 or 5 minutes for her to come back. The dice went back to her, and she held them for about another 15, almost 20 minutes. So it was about an hour and 15-minute roll, and you can only imagine the stacks of chips that people won and the most beautiful sight at a craps table, dust in front of the box person. And Dr. Mike, I think I know your sense of humor, and you're probably going to think exactly what I said. That's the one time when someone goes to the bathroom, you don't want them to wash their hands. I don't know if she did or she didn't, but as I said, she held them for another 15 minutes, which was just added to that run. Couldn't have been any better. Hope all is well. Hopefully you and the boys and everybody going out, all the listeners, win plenty of money on your meet and greet this upcoming weekend. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks, John. That happened at Harrah's once, didn't it? Where somebody was rolling and then really had to go to the bathroom.
Yep. We waited for him.
Yeah. As long as nobody else accepts the dice, no, I won't roll. There's not much the casino can do. They don't really like it because they like the game to continue. But, just I pass. So
right.
Good.
Exactly.
Good story.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm all for washing your hands.
Yeah.
And in this case, I might make an exception. And then after she's done, those dice should be retired.
Yes,
and
exactly.
She should go wash her hands.
Right. And I'd probably put gloves on when she comes back to the table, just in case I'm touching chips maybe that she had touched. And,
right.
If the dice hit my hand. It's just a good precaution.
It's a good precaution. I'll tell you what, Mark. Since it'll probably be a little cold here in a few weeks, I'll bring some hand warmers. So if somebody rolls a hot hand, I can give them a hand warmer. Hands warmer.
Okay, so what does this hand warmer look like? How does it work?
Oh, you know what they are? We use them for hunting and stuff. They're little packets, and you break it.
Oh, you break it, and
you bend
it gets hot. Yeah.
And it gets hot. You put it in your gloves when you're hunting to keep your hands warm.
Okay.
So, but this, you can just hold on to it.
Yeah.
In your fist until the dice come back around to you.
Perfect. Bring that, and also bring some of that fantastic soda pop from that place by you. Mike sent me a big case of this for my birthday. It's like
called
local
Spring Grove soda.
Yeah, like a little mom and pop place. That is the best soda pop we've ever had. Everybody in my family agrees. I mean, it's sweet. Yep. It's got sugar in it, baby.
Yeah, real sugar
wonderful.
too.
Yeah.
They use real sugar. Yeah, I'll bring some there.
Okay.
And I'm going to send you some more, I think.
Oh,
too.
Fantastic. Yeah, we love it.
Yeah.
So John's talking, we got so much feedback from listeners saying, hey, there are pay tables out there for Pai Gow Poker on the side bet where they do pay if you get 3 pair, or you just get your money back. It's a push. We've never seen it, but apparently it's out there. And sure enough, if I had just done a little homework and gone to the Wizard of Odds page and checked for Pai Gow side bets, I probably would have seen it. But much better to have the listeners tell me, hey, Mark, do your job.
Well, you've got a lot to do.
Yeah,
you've got a lot on your table.
It's too much. Yeah, it's not just the podcast. Too much to do. So, there are different pay tables. In most cases, 3 pair is nothing, but there are some where it's a push, like John said, and there are some others, too, where you actually get paid even money. And again, the rest of the pay table is adjusted accordingly. But glad to hear that is out there. All right, next call.
Hey, how's it going, Dr. Mark and Mike?
Huh?
My name is Casey Haynes. I was calling in from Washington State. I was just calling to let you guys know about our local casinos. I don't hear too many Washington State phone calls too often. The local one that most of everybody goes to around here is called Emerald Queen Casino, and we also have the famous one, Muckleshoot. Yeah, everybody loves the Muckleshoot. It's the biggest and the best in the Northwest, they say up here. It's actually the only area where you can find $5 craps over here in this Tacoma, Auburn, Seattle area. They're most famous for having $5 craps, and they have what seems to be like 2 casinos put together. That's why everyone seems to flock there, because not only do they have the 2 casinos put together, It's like half of the casino has craps tables on one side, and then the other half of the casino has craps tables on the other side, as well as roulette tables and slot machines. And so it's literally like walking into two casinos. One side has music and one side doesn't. And it actually has a nightclub there, so it has basically everything that you could imagine there. That's why everyone loves the Muckleshoot. That's why it's so famous, in case anyone was wondering. But the Emerald Queen's all right. It's more like a local spot where when you kind of want to go gamble and just play. But they're known for having $10 minimums. I would say the dealers there are all right. They're not known for being too friendly, but the Muckleshoot dealers are a little better. Yeah, if you guys are ever in this area and looking for some craps tables to hit up, I'd say check out the Muckleshoot. And if you are, I'd love to play with you. So, yeah, thanks a lot and have a great day.
Yeah, thanks, Casey. Yeah, we definitely have to put Muckleshoot on our bucket list or our mucket list.
Our mucket list.
Because we hear so much about it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what makes Muckleshoot so popular. Or
really?
If it's just the name, maybe.
You think it's you, is what you're saying. You think it's you that's made it so popular.
I think Muckleshoot's a great name.
It's a great name.
Well, if I'm in that area, I would definitely go.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I couldn't pass that up.
Yeah. And I think we had heard, too, that it's kind of separated into two casinos. I thought at one point one of them was non-smoking. I don't know if that's still the case or if I'm misremembering, but, that's a nice option, too. You want to go in the casino, let's just go to the one over here. It's non-smoking, so.
Well, one's no music. I like that. It's just dead silent in there. Really, I can't play in that casino.
All the machines are turned down.
Yeah.
Nice out.
Players aren't allowed to yell or
Nice
anything.
Out. Hands up, hands high.
Completely silent casino.
Right.
I love that.
You get kicked out if you kind of raise your voice.
This guy made some gassy noises over here.
You're too loud talking about the gassy noises. All right, next up is Nick.
Hey there, fellas. Hope your week is going great. I got a question for you about Survivor. I'm not sure if you guys do NFL Survivor, but I'm in the Survivor League. $100 for an entry, 100 people, and I'm one of the final 3. Now, by the time you probably hear this and it gets on the episode, I'm probably already eliminated, so it's not going to matter. But when it comes to that, and the third person left, giant prize pool coming my way, hopefully, fingers crossed. I was wondering if you would think it would be a smart idea to start to hedge my bets a little bit so I could at least come away with something. That's what I got for you guys. Have a great one. Go Bucks.
Yeah, it's been hard to pick the Survivor teams this year.
Yeah.
You can hear he's already
hedge
down to last. See, that's the thing. Okay, we generally discourage hedging, but we do say, hey, if it's life-changing money or it's a significant amount of money, yeah, maybe hedge it. But you're right, Mike. How would you hedge? There's so much you have to take in, because if you bet against the team that you're picking in the Survivor, well, if the team wins, you lose the hedge, but it doesn't mean you've won the pool yet. The other two people that you're against, maybe the teams they picked also won.
Right, and you might be hedging the next week.
It would depend on how long do you hedge? It would depend on so many factors, like what teams have your opponents picked.
Right.
Are you to the point where you figure all 3 of you are going to have to pick the same team? There's just too much to take into account. So, no, we would suggest don't even think about hedging, because, the idea behind a hedge is that it's guaranteeing you money or it's preventing you from losing a lot. But in this case, you may just lose. Your hedge just may completely lose and you don't get anything out of it.
You might hedge for 3 weeks and lose more than $100.
Yeah, right. So,
right. And then that's $100 you put in. My advice would be it's $100. If you don't make the final, you've lost $100, right?
Yeah, right. I mean,
but you've had some fun.
It's true, but it's $10,000, right? That's the thing, right? So, but that would be the other thing. How much do you bet?
Right.
I don't know. If you're going to hedge for just a little bit and forget about the money. I don't know. I take that back. Just don't even think of hedging. We can't recommend that for a Survivor
it's like
pool.
when there's one number left for the 6-point fire bet. And I think one time I did lay against the number, whatever it was. It might have been a 4 or a 10. So, but usually I never do, because I figure I'm getting some money for 5 no matter what.
Well, you see, that's a bad comparison, Mike, because when you're hedging in that case, you're going to win regardless, right? You're either going to win the hedge bet or you're going to win the side bet, right? And there's no guarantee here. That's why we're saying, just don't even do it.
Yeah. Well, my point about that is that it's just sweeter when you don't hedge and you hit it.
Yes, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a sweet feeling.
All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is David from NorCal. A couple episodes back, Dr. Mike made a comment saying, "Oh, another Dave," to a voicemail. So I figured it was time for me, the original Dave, to give a call back. To recall, I don't know how many years and episodes ago now it was, but I played on a table where it turned out there was 2 other Daves on the table, as well as a pit boss named David. And so I just thought that was a really funny thing at that time. Overdue for leaving a trip report. Just got back from Vegas. Well, not just got back. Went there for Labor Day weekend for a friend's 40th birthday. And a couple cool things happened. Let's see. Number one, playing at Planet Hollywood, I tried out the stadium craps with the short table. I don't know why people like this one more than roll to win. I prefer roll to win if I can't get onto a regular craps table. That stadium craps with the short bucket, I always feel like the dice just die, and it's really hard to adjust your throw for that piece. But the funny thing there was we actually finally had a shooter who was doing pretty good. He threw for about 15 and started doing that little I have to pee dance. And he was up there and he's like, "Can I just run to the bathroom?" And this is at like 3 a.m. The dealer calls over the pit boss. Pit boss asks us, "Okay, well, you can't do that. You have to pass the dice." Everybody was like, "Nope, we're all passing to him. We're fine to wait." So we wait. The guy runs off, goes to the bathroom, comes back. You know, he threw a few more times before a big red came up. But I just thought that was pretty memorable, and the fact that the pit boss was okay with it and everyone else was just cheering along for that of saying, "Hey, go ahead and go to the restroom." Second story, playing roll to win, I threw the all-tall small at under 20 throws. Too bad there's no option to bet it on roll to win. So this is now the second or third time now I've had that happen to me on a roll to win table. Overall, Vegas was fun. Craft sessions were good. The first day where I would leave whenever I was up somewhere between 20 to 50% of my buy-in. Went big on the last day, and of course I lost, but overall it was a good trip. Happy to hear for you guys that the Padres are moving on and you guys beat LA because everybody wants to beat LA. Otherwise, have a good time. I wish I could go to Diamond Joe and see you all there, but gotta go spend time with the family in Disneyland instead. Thank you guys again for everything you do, and hope to leave a positive trip report on my next time I call in. Okay, bye.
All right, great. Thanks, David.
Great.
Wow,
Yep,
another bathroom story at the craps table. We've never heard anybody, and here in one episode, 2 people, just pass the dice. There's nothing the casino can do.
You want me to tell a bathroom crap story?
Oh, do I?
Well, I don't know. It's up to you.
All right, go ahead.
We have time for it?
Oh, yeah, we got time.
All right. Well, I'm sitting at the table, right? There's these 3 old men playing next to me. They're buddies. They're old guys, farmers, having some fun. And I hear the one guy say, "Gosh, this is great sitting here playing craps. I wished all my life was like this." And they said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, every time I go to the bathroom, number one, it just dribbles out. And then a few minutes later, I got to go again, dribbles out. I long for the days when it was a nice solid stream and I was done for quite a while."
Uh-huh.
And the second guy said to him, he said, "Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. I have the same problem with number 2. I just wished I could just have one nice solid one instead of all day long runny stuff and everything." So the third guy looks at him and he says, "Yeah, I know what you guys mean." He said, "But I don't have those problems because every morning, 7:00, I go pee. No problem. Nice big stream. 7:15, I do my number 2, nice solid log. It's great." And the guys look at him and, "What are you complaining about?" He said, "Well, I don't get out of bed till 9.
That's a great craps bathroom story, Mike.
Great.
Thanks for
good.
tying in that story with the craps table. They were right next to you, huh?
They're right next to me.
Yeah. So it's funny how David was talking about how he hit the all tall small on the roll to win table, but the bet's not there. You're real good at keeping track of that. Whenever there's a bet that's not listed on the table, you're saying, "Oh, we just won the repeater on the 3. Oh, we just won the fire bet," where there's no fire bet. Oh, there we go.
I do it at Diamond Joe.
Yeah.
One roll this last weekend, 5 11s.
Wow, really?
Yeah, 5 11s on the same roll. I'm like, "Oh my God, one more 11. You've
would have
won
been
the
6,
repeater
right? You got to hit it 3. Yeah.
Got to hit it 3.
Yeah.
And they just all looked at me like, what? I don't think they knew. Some people probably didn't know what a repeater bet was.
Dr. Mike's hallucinating again.
Yeah, what is he talking about? And every time a fire bet hits out there, I announce it. Well, that's the 4th point.
All right, now let's hear from Eamon.
Hello, gentlemen. Eamon here from Currently Homeless. I wanted to recap my summer and say this will likely be my last trip report for some time. It was quite the summer for me, and I was quiet as I was on an incredible streak, and I didn't want to jinx it. I literally couldn't lose at the craps table. So I wanted to call out a few items from the summer. So I took a trip to Resorts World Catskills, and just one small thing to note is you can't actually use your Resorts World player's card from like Vegas there, so just keep that in mind. I did adopt a new tipping style this summer, which is to always just have $1 on the 6 and 8 for the dealers, and I noticed some big differences between casinos. So at Rivers Schenectady, they pay the dealers 2-1, and then the dealers pull the bet if it hits. At Resorts World Catskills, the dealers only get paid 1-1, and then they pull the bets. And then at Foxwoods, I can't actually remember if it was 2-1 or 1-1, but when it does hit, they leave the bet out there, which is obviously much more pocket-friendly for the player. So this is my last trip report for a while because my wife and I are actually moving to London in 2 weeks and having a kid in February, so lots going on my end. So to prepare for that move, some friends and I took a gambling trip to Foxwoods. And to start, we had never been there, and we were going on a weekend, and we looked it up, and rooms were around $425 per night, which was just exorbitant, right? So I went on their website, and I emailed a lady named Ramona in player development and just said, hey, we're coming to gamble. Can you help us out with a better rate? She responded, very quickly and said, hey, here's a casino rate, which came out to about $300 for 2 nights total, so much cheaper than just a off-the-shelf rate. And in addition to that, she gave us 2 VIP lounge passes per person per day. The food there was actually quite good, and it rotated throughout the day, and there was even free drinks, so we can't praise Ramona enough for her help with all that. And eventually, based on her play, she comped we did a steakhouse dinner and our room fully. So I know you guys have preached it before, but all you got to do is ask, and hopefully you'll get a kind response. As for the gambling at Foxwoods, it was yet another profitable trip. See the picture I sent? They only opened the craps tables at the Grand Pequot Tower, right? There's a few casinos, but we never actually saw them open the table at the Fox Tower. The tables were typically 10 to 15 throughout the weekend, except for Saturday night. They changed our table to 25 during the middle of a session, which actually benefited us because the table continued to be hot. So we were betting more, and it just worked in everyone's favor except the casinos.
Taught them a lesson.
There, I'll say, are very seasoned and kind of have a chip on their shoulder. 2 small instances. When I first got there, a friend was already at the table, and I gave him $100. He gave me some chips. I placed a $10 line bet, $30 in odds just to get started. And the dealer paid me, and he was off by like $6, I think. And I'm kind of like staring at the bet and just kind of looking at it, and he just says, hey, you don't need to question me. I've been doing this since 1972. I've taught almost everyone in this casino. I said, I'm not questioning you. I'm just, making sure my payout's right. That's all. And then he reaches across the table and swipes and mixes all my chips together, making it nearly impossible to count up. And at the same time, the stick man's saying, dice out, place your bets. And so it was just really odd, especially when I literally hadn't even talked to the dealer yet. I said hi, threw in my player's card, whatever. But just to have that happen was quite odd. And then the other thing that was funny was happened when we were cashing out. One of our friends had a substantial win, and the box man literally couldn't figure out how to add up all the chips. He had all the greens stacked in piles of 4 across the table, and the stick man eventually got angry with him and slams his stick on the table and starts lecturing him on how to count the chips. He's like, no, stack these, now count this, which just made the box man more flustered. But other than that, all the dealers were great. There were just those 2 small instances, which were kind of comical. But overall, a really cool place, and we would go back if I was still in the area. Anyways, take care.
All right. Well, good luck on your move, and congratulations on the baby coming up. Yeah.
Good month to have a baby, February.
I think so. I think everybody knows why. It's really too bad, the story about the dealer. Mike, I don't know if I'm...
Why would somebody do that?
If I'm the floor or the boss and so, and I see that, Well, first of all, I'm taking them off the table right away and having a discussion
Exactly.
with them at the very
Right.
least. Right?
At the very least, right.
And then, maybe even firing him because that's you can just picture the guy, can't you? I've been dealing this since 1972. That's just terrible. It's good, though, that they had a good experience otherwise because it sounds like they got a hold of a great host. And Eamon was smart, calling ahead. Sound like she really took care of him.
That's the opposite side of the coin.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The host is wonderful. She does everything. They're happy. They'll be back. I mean, pleasant experience all the way around. And then the dealer's like the worst.
Yeah,
right.
It's too bad.
Who says stuff like that?
I remember years ago, I was at Golden Nugget, and I'm sure I was in my 20s. And the point was 5, and the shooter made the point, and the dealer paid me wrong on my odds. And, he's kind of not looking at me, and I said, oh, here, this is wrong here. No, it's not, sir. Doesn't look at me. And so then I have to raise my voice. Oh, you're paying me $25? He finally looks, realizes he did make a mistake. No sorry or anything, just angrily tosses me the extra chip that I'm owed and, moves on. So
you were in an age where he knew you weren't going to fight back.
Right, exactly. He's looking at me, oh, this kid doesn't know what he's talking about, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so. Yeah.
And that shouldn't be either because age shouldn't matter.
Nope.
Now, if someone did that to me now at my age now, I'd lay into him.
Oh, yeah. You mean a dealer? If a dealer treated you like that? Yeah.
Isn't there supposed to be a thank you with that? Or I'm sorry, or you're welcome, or isn't that how the world works?
Yeah.
Oh, man. People like that drive me crazy.
Yeah. But again, good for Ramona and glad that overall it was a good trip. And yeah, Mike, I think I forwarded you to some of the pictures Eamon sent. His friend won a ton. If I didn't send it to you, I'll show you after.
Send it to me. Yeah.
It was quite a cash out. So
great.
congratulations.
I'd like to see that. I'd love to see that. Yeah. Make them pay for raising it up to $25.
All right, let's hear from somebody we should be seeing in a couple of weeks here. Here's Kevin.
Hi, Mark, Dr. Mike. It's Kevin in Wisconsin. Before I give you a trip report, I just wanted to say how much I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in Diamond Joe Worth. By the time your podcast airs, I'm also passing out another karma donation. Hopefully it'll work better than my latest foray into the desert. 3 buddies and I went to stay at the D in downtown Vegas at the beginning of October. There was a reggae concert going on, so it would have cost us $1,800 for 3 weekend nights at Circa. But we still wanted free access to Stadium Swim, which we obviously get staying at the D. It's a below-average hotel for accommodations, but it's always hopping and a great place to gamble. Price is right, too. I want to put in a plug for the Downtown Grand. $5 craps on Saturday day and $1 blackjack. I got washed out in short order at the craps table, but didn't play any blackjack. I did play some $25 blackjack at Circa, and that lasted for all of about 3 minutes on $200. Best hand I had was a push. 3 minutes, not an exaggeration. Pit boss even wanted to know what happened. I think it's great when you have great dealers. The 4 of us spent most of our gambling time at the Golden Nugget. A blackjack dealer asking why our chip stacks are so small and calling 17s the mother-in-law. Never heard that before. It's hilarious. At the same time, I was playing craps on a table there where the dealers were painfully slow. It got so bad the high roller next to me swore and left, as did I. There's a certain rhythm and pace to craps, and delays can really be disruptive to the fun and the natural flow of the game. Overall, for the trip, I got crushed, but fortunately, I didn't have to take a second mortgage, so it's a win. 2 final things. One, with respect to your ongoing poker saga. I suck at poker, and I can totally see myself calling on a garbage hand after the flop and the turn. It'll be interesting to see what happened to the dealer who helped himself to the player chips. Again, the alleged cheating woman may have just sucked at poker and got lucky. Lastly, maybe you guys can shed some light on this. How does a sports book determine whether to move the vig or the line? Sometimes you'll see the juice on a game climb all the way up to minus 125 when the line stays at minus 3, for example. Other times you see a similar bet where the juice stays at minus 110 and the line will jump to minus 4, 4.5 or something. Maybe you know something about that. Congrats to the Padres. Great season. Dr. Mike, I love your residence jinx. You're in California. The Padres blow. You move out of California and go to Minnesota and the Padres roll. Well, now that you live in Minnesota, I hope you can help the Vikings lay a big fat turd. Go Pack. I want to say hi to my Vegas buddies, Brad, Joel, and Patty. They're great companions when I need to act like a juvenile in the Mecca that is Las Vegas. Thanks for all you do. I'm excited to share cocktails with you in Iowa. See ya.
Well, it doesn't seem to be working, Mike, because the Packers aren't doing too well, right? And the Vikings are doing okay,
terrible.
right?
Yeah, the Packers have rough game. That game last night was
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah.
And the Vikings are doing great. But I did curse the Twins, who were in first place in that division for like 3/4 of the season,
Yeah.
and then didn't make the playoffs. So, I'm working up to football.
That's good. Well, okay, so he's talking about the line and the point spread and how come the spread doesn't move sometimes? How come it's actually the line that moves? Well, especially in football, when you're looking at those magic numbers 3 and 7, right? A field goal or a touchdown. Casinos are reluctant to just automatically move the spread to like 3.5 or 2.5, 6.5,
Right.
7.5, something like that, because those numbers are so critical in football games. So rather than do that, and of course it'll also depend on the betting public, they will change the line. Maybe they'll make it, instead of -110, -115, -125. And then if that gets too high, then they'll maybe move the
Adjust the
spread.
line.
And then it's not going to go to 3.5. Maybe it'll go all the way to 4 or 4.5
Right.
or more or below,
Right.
So, these are some examples. Happens a lot in hockey too, when you're talking about the over-under, because there are not many goals scored in hockey. So in many games, you'll see the over-under is 6 or 6.5. Every once in a while, it'll be a little lower than that or a little higher, but it's almost always 6 or 6.5. Again, they're reluctant to move that total from 6.5 to 7 or from 6 to 5.5. So before they do that, maybe they'll move the line again to -115, -120, -125, that kind of thing. So that's why it happens. You won't see it as much in, say, basketball, where the scoring's happening all the time, right? So it's not as critical there. So you very rarely see them move the line. They're more likely to move the spread. So it's really in games where there's low scoring, or specifically football, where there are certain scoring plays, specifically field goals and touchdowns, that can really affect the point spread. So
Yeah. You don't see too many scores of 5,
right,
for instance,
Yeah.
right?
Yep, exactly.
I mean, so it's a limited amount of combinations that come up, as opposed to something like baseball, where it could be 5-3. That's a common score. Right?
Yeah, right. I've never heard. Have you heard a 17 in blackjack called the mother-in-law?
I have not.
Yeah,
and
that's a
when
good one.
he said that, I was like, "Oh, that's a good one."
Yeah, I agree. Now you're living
yeah.
with your mother-in-law right now before you
Correct.
move into a new house. How do you think
She's
she'd feel about that?
Well, she probably wouldn't know what I was talking about. Number
Okay.
one, but number two, she's a 21. So
Oh, very good. I got a good mother-in-law. Good for you,
yeah,
Dr.
I
Mike.
got a great mother-in-law. I told my wife, I said, so when we get into our new house in December, after work every day, we're stopping here to eat dinner, right?
Yeah.
Her mom is the best cook ever.
Yeah.
And I come home every night and I think, God, it can't be any better than last night's. And she outdoes it every night. So.
Nice. So how does Lynn feel about that? Is it okay that you'd rather she
agreed.
Okay.
And Lynn's a really good cook. I love her cooking.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But her mother's the bomb. I mean,
Yeah, Kevin talking about how, $5 craps, $1 blackjack at Downtown Grand. Downtown Grand is one of those casinos where we'll be downtown and we're thinking, where should we go? And we're crossing streets and everything. And then finally one of us will say, well, what about Downtown Grand? It's like, of course. We slap our forehead and then we walk over there. So, yeah, we always
what's
have a good
funny
time
is
playing there.
$1 blackjack. Wow.
I know. Is there a VIG included with that?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
in
what's the
Oklahoma,
deal?
do you have to pay 25 cents a hand?
It's a dollar VIG. Yeah, $1 blackjack, but there's a dollar
VIG. Hey, I won. Here's your money back. He gives a good suggestion here. If you want to go to Stadium Swim and you don't want to have to just pay for it, and you don't want to pay the high prices for the rooms at Circa, you can stay at the D or at Golden Gate, which are also Stevens properties. That is good advice. I'll tell you, I don't like either of those properties. I've stayed at both of them, and I don't know if it's just the rooms are too small because they're older or whatever, but I didn't like staying at either one. But that is an option if you really don't care so much about the accommodations, but you would like to get into the pool.
Right. Well, they're old and antiquated,
Yeah.
so I can't really blame them for that. They have limited space. To
Right. They're
work
just
with.
it's not like they can expand rooms, right, without taking that down load bearing walls.
Well, or get rid of half their rooms to make double rooms or something.
Yeah,
It's just not feasible. But yeah, I mean, if you're like us and you just need a bed to sleep in at night, you don't care less about the room.
Yeah.
Then that's the way to go for sure.
Yep. All right, yeah, Kevin, looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
All right, one more call. Let's hear from our good friend Globetrotter Melanie.
Hello, Mark. Hello, Dr. Mike. This is Melanie from Colorado, coming to you live from central Vietnam, where I have a casino report. I'm just here writing out Typhoon and a set incoming. I went to the Hoiana, Hoiana Casino. It's just south of Hoi An, which is in central Vietnam. On the coast, it's a beautiful resort. They have golf. It's beachside, and I'm sure it's wonderful when it's not storming, raining, and blowing wind. The casino itself, an amazing experience. On the first level, they have a poker room. Looks like they're having a big inaugural poker tournament there. The next tournament starts tomorrow, but it's $1,000 buy-in, so I probably won't be doing that given that my poker skills are not skills. Over on the other side, then for the hotel, there's the casino. I really expected kind of a smoky, I don't know what I expected casino, but it's extremely nice, very swanky. There's definitely places for your drink in the bathroom, and they have Western World toilet paper, which I haven't had in more than 3 weeks, so I'm appreciating that. They have a great sports bar. There was a big screen. It had what looked like slot terminals like in front of the bar, in front of the big screen, but those were turned off, unfortunately. I would have liked to have played there and watched the soccer game. They had stadium gaming, but that wasn't open. It was pretty dead in there. The music choice was hilarious. It was basically Muzak, mostly the Beatles, but very soft, peaceful music, not what you normally experience. You have to sign up for the Players Club because you can't gamble there if you're Vietnamese unless you can prove that you make more than $450 a month and you can prove that you have approval from your family to be able to play. But anyway, when they first opened, they were not open to Vietnamese people. Some of the games were in the US dollar, which is interesting because everything is done in Vietnamese dong. If you're next door in Cambodia, it's both. You use dollars and Khmer reals. But here, you can put a $20 in a slot machine and play. It was very fun. You have to sign up for the player's card. You have to show your passport, which I did. I got $25 of free play, and I also got a free tea and cake, which is nice. Didn't try the cake, but the tea was great. They have a great food court. It was excellent. Ate breakfast there. I think it was $4 for a big breakfast, which is kind of a lot for Vietnam. It's right on the beach. It'd be a really nice spot to vacation, except for the typhoon currently that we're riding out. Back to the casino, it wasn't smoky at all. And then on the second floor, there were 3 different VIP casinos. And I did walk through those. 1 or 2 of them had gorgeous views toward the ocean, and it would be an amazing place to gamble. I mean, floor-to-ceiling windows, beautiful. Played a little bit of blackjack. I played at the 200,000 dong. That's about $8. The $10 US table was not open. But anyway, won $16 at the dong table. I tried to buy in with my dong, but you can't use your dong at the table. You have to actually go to the cashier and buy dong chips to play at the dong table. So I guess you have to go to the cashier to buy in with dollars to play at the U.S. currency table. I think you have to play with dollars and not dong for the slot machines. But let's see, I won 138 at a slot machine, and I know what they say about superstitions, but it was the one time I didn't put my card in that I won. I played sick bow, so they have the bubble craps machine that we have in the States. Well, this was bubble sick bow, so there's 3 dice, which means there is a massive array of bets to choose from, and I had no idea what I was doing. So I think I lost $6 there. I won $8 on my free play, and then had the big hit on the slot machine. Anyway, really nice people, nice facility in the VIP area where I played. I don't know why it was VIP there, but man, they have super swanky seats. They kind of recline. There's little tables that come out, little drink holders, USB ports, chargers. It was, they had a little fan in case you get too hot that you could turn on, a little personal fan. So very interesting experience. Really glad I went. And I did want to check out casinos in Cambodia. There's a bunch of them in the south, in Sihanoukville. I'm probably saying that wrong. It's kind of a jumping off point to get to a bunch of the islands. And I was going to go to an island off southern Cambodia. However, the weather wasn't going to be favorable. Chinese developers have come in and just really used to be kind of a sleepy beach town, and now they've built like 100 casinos. There's ongoing construction, and it's kind of lost its charm. Other travelers I met along the way were like, yeah, it's definitely not a place you want to seek out, but I was super curious about it. There's definitely some conflict between Chinese developers coming in and building these big casinos and the extreme poverty of the Khmer people that they pretty much experience all the time. So I think they've brought in Chinese workers versus hiring the local Khmer people. Anyway, I had a really great time. Highly recommend coming to the casino here in Hoi An if you find yourself in central Vietnam, especially during a typhoon. Thanks for the show, guys. It certainly has been wonderful company as I've been traveling through Southeast Asia for a month.
Wow, great. Thanks for the report, Melanie.
That's very detailed and thorough. There are 4 things I love about that report.
All right.
Mark. Number 1, I love that she's giving us her report from Vietnam.
Yeah.
That's great.
I agree.
Number 2, I love the fact that she used except for the typhoon a lot.
That's right. It is so good.
You don't hear that a lot in daily talk, except for the typhoon. No. And then I love that she played sick bow.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, my God.
Sick
Bubble sick bow.
I think I saw some pictures online of Bubble Sick Bow at Resorts World in Las Vegas. They may have taken those out. Maybe they just weren't popular enough. But I think I saw them there. So, yeah, that's great. That's a great way to play it.
That's a great. And the 4th thing I loved about this call is she used dong a lot.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that one.
Yeah,
that's.
I love that.
Well, we're going to hear from Melanie again, a call from the tail end of her trip. We'll hear that on our next episode. We actually have several other voicemails from other listeners as well. I'm going to hold them for the next episode because, well, here's the deal. Our schedule is such that if we were to record 2 weekends from now, that would be during our Veterans Day trip to Diamond Joe Worth. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to record an episode early, still drop it on the regular day, November 14th, which will be after our trip. But we're recording before the trip. So, again, the next episode you'll hear, it'll be after our trip. It'll be after Election Day here with the sports betting props and everything. But since we're going to record it early, we won't be able to talk about those until the following episode that will drop sometime after Thanksgiving. So I hope that's clear. But anyway, if you didn't hear your voicemail, it's because I'm holding on to them so we have enough content for our next episode. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. And we want to thank some people for some recurring donations. Brian and Sarah, Josh, and the boys over at the Crap Vegas podcast, who we're going to see here at Diamond Joe Worth. And, of course, Kevin, that we heard from. As promised, he sent us a Karma donation, says Karma for November 11th. So looking forward to seeing you there, Kevin. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings and our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonthat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review of the show. We love getting your feedback. Dr. Mike?
Well, are we going to have a little update, remind everybody about the 11th?
Yeah, so just the specifics.
Friday.
Yeah, I'm going to be getting in Thursday night, and I think you're going to be getting there Thursday night too. No promises.
Well, I have to check you in.
Yeah,
because
that's
the
right.
room's under my name. So
no promises for any get-togethers on that Thursday night. And I imagine there won't be many people there anyway. We just don't know how it's going to go. I've got a flight coming in and et cetera. But then we're going to be there all day Friday and Saturday and most of the day on Sunday too. So again, it's November 11th. That's the Friday. It's Veterans Day. We're going to be there through Sunday, November 13th. It's Diamond Joe Worth in Iowa, WORTH. We're looking forward to
the one closest to the Minnesota border.
Right. We're looking forward to seeing anybody and everybody. Open invitation. We'd love to see you at the tables there.
Hey, and I have a request. If people are going to be there Saturday night for sure and want to go to the steakhouse to eat, let me know, because this coming weekend when I go down there, I wanted to make a reservation because, if we have 10 or 12 or 13 people.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought maybe Saturday night we'd all go to the steak place because they rave about it. I haven't eaten there, but people there rave about it.
Okay, good.
So if people let us know, just a rough idea, if people want to go to that, I can make a reservation.
Just email us again, youcanbetonThat@gmail.com, or tweet to You Can Bet On That. And maybe we can get a head count. Great.
Yeah. And I'll, whatever it turns out to be, I'll add 1 or 2 to it.
Yeah.
So we'll have room. I'm sure that won't be a problem. But I thought, well, if there's going to be 8 or 9 of us or 10 of us going, we better let them know.
Yeah. Good. Good thinking.
So I got a little story for you here, Mark.
All right.
I'm just going to tell you about my day today.
Today's day. Okay, so recording a little late here because you had to get together with family. We normally record on a Sunday. It's actually Monday today, so it's a work day for you, right?
It's a work day.
Okay, go ahead.
So the first thing in the morning is I transport some children who go to a special school called Spectrum. It's for autistic kids.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the little girls threw up in the car halfway there.
Okay.
All over the back seat.
Yeah.
And then we passed 2 accidents on the highway. One that happened just before we got there, where a lady ran into a guardrail and totaled a car.
Oh.
And then just a little bit past that, there's another accident. So we're coming back. I'm driving back after I dropped him off, and I turned to my wife, who drives with me in the morning, and I said, "Oh my God, this day is just starting out terribly."
Yeah.
And then I get to school and stay there a while, and at 10 o'clock, I go pick up another little boy who's nonverbal, sweet as can be, but nonverbal, and he's had a couple of strokes in the past.
Okay.
And so we get to school. He had a little blowout, let's call it, in his pants. And so I had to change that. And I'm eating lunch, and I'm telling Lynn, oh, gosh, this day. Well, after lunch, I get my child, the one I take care of. We're in the room, and he's nonverbal, Mark. We're in the kindergarten room with the other kindergartners.
Yeah.
Because we like to get him, to socialize if he can. So we're in there, and I'm, playing with him. And all of a sudden, he let out the biggest belly laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, just laugh for like 30 straight. This is a kid who makes no sounds.
Yeah,
really.
none at all.
Just a big, huge belly laugh. And all the kids turn around, like 18 kids are staring at him. The teacher's looking at him like, what the heck? He's just laughing away. Made my day,
I'll
Mark.
bet. With everything else, it was
best day ever at school.
Oh, that's great. What a great story.
Forget about all the other stuff.
Yeah.
I get in the car to go home later in the day, and I tell Lynn the whole story. And she says to me, well, if he's not going to laugh at the goofiest, craziest person on the planet, he's never going to laugh. So I don't know. Was I insulted or not? I don't know. I'm just glad.
That's a good compliment. Oh, that's a great story, Dr. Mike.
It was wonderful. The kindergartner kids were like freaking out. They're cheering.
Yeah.
He's going to talk.
Oh,
he had a good laugh. So anyway, best day ever. So I'm hoping to surpass that here in the near future and get a word.
That'd be fantastic. Well, let us know. Oh, that's a great way to end the show, Dr. Mike. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Good night.
Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.